Have you ever thought of taking 3 weeks out of your life to explore a part of your own country you've never seen before? Well, I certainly have, and that's exactly what I did. Join me for the adventure of a lifetime as I make my way around the stunning state of Queensland, Australia by rail. Before we get started with the video, I'd like to showcase a bit of footage that was accidentally left out of the previous video. This is a view out the back of the Westlander as we cross the Angelala Rail Bridge. Measuring in at 530 metres, the Western Approach is the longest approach of any railway bridge in Queensland. Thanks again to the driver of the train for letting us know when we'll be crossing the bridge. Alright, that's that. Hope you enjoy the rest of the video. We left off yesterday after I'd arrived in Charleville on the Westlander, then saw it off again for its return journey. The next day, I visited some attractions in Charleville, the first being the excellent Historic House Museum. This is an excellent attraction for both railway enthusiasts and anyone else who just likes a bit of good old local history. One museum piece worth a special mention was the rail ambulance. These were unique to Queensland and were used from 1918 all the way until 1990 in various outback towns. They were most useful during the wet season, as before all-weather services, the roads would become so muddy that they were completely impassable to any road-based vehicle traffic. The railway, on the other hand, was still able to be used during the wet season, so the ambulances were driven by a volunteer railway employee whenever they were needed. After spending the entire day there, I had some dinner at the pub before joining in on a stargazing session at the local observatory, where a knowledgeable astronomer talked about constellations amongst other things while we sat around a fire. Both attractions are well worth the price. At 12:30 AM that night, I would be leaving Charleville on a bus back to Brisbane. As such, I didn't pay for a second night at the caravan park. However, they kindly offered to keep my big backpack safe during the day so I wouldn't have to have it burden me for the entire day. Alright, I have my backpack on my back and it's time to go to the railway station again, but this time to catch a bus. My stay at the caravan park has been nice. Slightly on the pricey side for an unpowered site. It was like $30. Normally caravan parks are about 10 to 15 for an unpowered site. But, you know, well, there was another caravan park in town and maybe they had cheaper. I don't know, I didn't check. Even if it was something more reasonable like $15, I think I'd pay the extra 15, sorry. Just for the convenience of being closer to the station and stuff. The other caravan park is closer to the main street of town, but yeah, this one is closer to the station, and I visited the station more than any other place, especially with the heavy backpack. Like, I've essentially got two backpacks. I've got my big heavy one and my small day pack. My day pack is currently sitting inside the big multi-day hiking pack. And yeah, it's doing well, my setup. But yeah, I don't, when I have to carry the big heavy pack around, it's always best if I don't have to carry it that far. So, in other words, caravan park. Would I stay there again? Yeah. Am I going to stay in the other caravan park next time I come to this town? I'd probably, if I wasn't having a heavy backpack, I'd probably go to the other one. If nothing else, just to try it out. But yeah. Well, we're here, just outside the station. Still got another half an hour or so until the bus gets in, but I think that this sleeper train will be departing very shortly. I just heard the crew taking off the handbrakes before, so yeah. And here we are, our ride for the tonight. We continued on through the night. The roads were rather bumpy and corrugated despite being paved the whole way. This caused everything on the bus to squeak, thus rendering decent sleep outright impossible. The driver and his relief colleague also chatted all night, but I actually didn't mind this, as I wouldn't have gotten any good sleep anyway. The bus did stop for food at 3:30am in Roma and 6am in Miles, where I spent most of my time photographing the local railway station. After switching buses at the Toowoomba depot, we continued on our way towards Brisbane. Upon arrival at the Brisbane Transit Centre, we ascended a set of spiral ramps before pulling up in the bus bays on the top floor. This won't be the case for much longer, however, as the entire transit centre is due to be demolished for the Cross River Rail project. Despite only just arriving into Brisbane, I was due to leave in a few hours to catch a train to Cairns. I spent most of my free time roaming around the Roma Street parklands. The luscious vegetation seen here foreshadows the epic scenery I would see in my upcoming journey. This is the train that I'm going on in an hour or so. It's just arrived and we drop off anything that it's carrying. I can't see any passengers on there, but we're told that it's not going to be ready for boarding until about 3:30. So wait around until then. Hello. What seat is this? 8. That's me. Not too bad. No screens. Single seat. Good.
Please stand clear.
As we set off on our 25-hour, 1,681 kilometre journey, a sense of excitement and adventure began to set in. I was feeling especially lucky as I almost missed out on travelling on this train during this visit to Queensland. It wasn't until about a month before I left Melbourne that I decided to book on my various train journeys. I thought this wouldn't be an issue as trains in Victoria are never booked out that far in advance. However, when I rang up the booking office at Queensland Rail, they told me that while the rest of my trains had seats available, the Spirit of Queensland was fully booked out. They explained to me that it was school holidays and that everyone was wanting to head up the coast. I told them I couldn't shift my dates, so I would have to miss out. However, the person on the phone gave me one piece of crucial advice. They told me, keep ringing up every day, preferably in the morning, as people's plans do change. If you're persistent, you'll likely get a seat after they ring up to cancel their ticket. So, that's exactly what I did. And one late morning, when I rang, there was just one seat available in economy, exactly as I wanted. As a bonus, it was one of the few single seats in economy, as next to me was technically a wheelchair spot. There were many other wheelchair spots on the train, including behind me, so even if someone was needing a wheelchair spot, which no one did in my case, it was almost guaranteed that the spot next to me would remain unoccupied. As a precautionary measure, I did book myself a refundable ticket on board a long-distance coach from Brisbane to Cairns. However, I would come to cancel that ticket when the seat on the train became available. Rockhampton. We're about half an hour or so late into here. I mean, what's the time now? It's 12:30, so yeah, about half an hour late. And we're stopping for a crew change and supply change, or supply top-up, I guess, and of course pick up passengers. Yeah, the interesting thing about Rockhampton is not so much the station, but what is after the station. We will be travelling down the main street. This train, the Spirit of Queensland, is the only train in Australia to travel down the main street. Railway lines, there are a couple of other places where the train line does run down the main street, but those places don't have a regular passenger train, certainly not of this magnitude. But yeah, it's cool. And yeah, Rockhampton Station. What else can I say?
Doors closing. Please stand clear.
As the train sped into the night, I tried to get some sleep. This was only slightly more successful than the last night, where I was on a noisy bus. It wasn't too noisy this time, but while the seat was fairly comfortable in the daytime, it was rather uncomfortable to sleep in, and the 1 metre by 1 metre blanket that was provided didn't do much to keep me warm. Perhaps next time I'll book into the railbed class, where seats can lie flat and bedded blankets are provided. As morning came and breakfast was served, I gave up trying to get any more sleep. Despite having 2 almost sleepless nights in a row, tropical scenery and excitement for the journey ahead masked any negative feelings that would have otherwise been present. Well, we're here in Bowen, and the platform is rather short, so we've stopped so that the baggage can be unloaded, and then we'll be moving forward in a minute. So so that passengers can get out. Shows you just how small the platform is. Okay, so the platform's a little bit longer than I thought it would be, but still. They can't unload the baggage compartment and the rear passenger carriages at the same time. Welcome to Townsville. It's rather noisy here. I mean, there's that. There's the V8 supercar racing. But there's also just tons of people here. Literally, a lot of the train got off. But look at this, Townsville station. How nice. It's a nice view. Station building itself is a bit meh. But yeah.
Doors closing. Please stand clear.
Well, here we are. Cairns station.
You should be with this friend.
Okay. Hello, Cairns. Oh. I once heard somebody say that Cairns has the weather of a sweaty human armpit. I think it's true. But yeah, Spirit of Queensland, eh? Done and dusted. I quite liked it. Let's go collect our luggage. Well, we've arrived here and the time is exactly 4:33. And we've been here for about 3 minutes, so we arrived dead on time. Good job, Queensland Rail. I'm impressed. I wish I had a rail bed, but that was my fault for not booking early enough. And yeah, it's bloody impressive from my perspective. Because, you know, I woke up this morning and we're in Mackay and we were more than an hour behind schedule. But we made it up. And we're here bang on time. So, brilliant. Airline would have just thrown up their arms and called it either late or if it was within 20 minutes, which was looking like at one time would be 20 minutes late. And they'd just say, oh yeah, 20 minutes late. No, sorry, that's on time. But yeah. So, I'm rather impressed. As the train left the platform, I collected my bag and reminisced on the past 48 hours. I had travelled nearly 2,500 kilometres with little to no sleep. The owner of the Airbnb I had booked for Cairns very kindly offered to pick me up from the station. I graciously accepted as I was rather exhausted and ready for a good night's sleep.